Alright, folks, I am your host, Dynamite Grip, and you are on Comic Fever. And this is Luke Cage, number 2. The non-spoiler review. Alright, so, what do we get for non-spoilers? Well, we've got writer David F. Walker, artist Nelson Blake II, and the letterer is VC's Joe Sabino, and cover artist is Raza. This has been the best series thus far. I think so far this season as a whole has been great. Um, it's got mystery, it's got mob bosses, all set to a beautifully scenic city landscapes. It's, in my opinion, an urban Captain America story. The art is beautifully dark. The details of the faces is great. All in all, I give this book a grade A. And it is only the second book in the series so far, so. And hopefully, I really hope they can keep this up. Because this kind of makes me, this kind of makes me can't wait for the next one to come out. So, with that said, that was my non-spoiler review. The art was very well done. Beautifully drawn, all in all. Just to give you a heads up on what it looks like in there. I'll just give you a better look. Let's see. Panels are drawn really good. Anyway, that's my spoiler-free review. Now, let's see. We last left our hero in New Orleans. He had been knocked out by some thugs, and the doctor who had introduced him to someone, and who he was, lack of a better term, traveling with, has been kidnapped. And the scene ends with a familiar face uttering the words, "Don't die on me, baby brother." This book opens up with Cage in the backseat of Tanner, aka Warhawk, racing through the back streets of New Orleans. Cage trying to convince himself that the attack he just suffered was all a part of a dream, but realizing he is kidding himself because the pain is just too real. We end up at a garage where Warhawk helps Cage by cauterizing with what we aren't told. With what we aren't told. We just see Warhawk stab Cage with a lightsaber-looking thing and dressing the wounds of Cage. After this, Cage begins to drift out of consciousness. We transition over to the Corello residence. Here we learn that the masked man that kidnapped the doctor was Frankie Corello, Mateo Corello's crime boss of New Orleans' son, and a few goons of the Corello family. Uh, Here we also learn that Frankie Corello was one of Dr. Bernstein's subjects, and that the process that Bernstein put Frankie through, the same one he put Cage and Warhawk through, left Frankie with some side effects. And the medication slash gas that is used to control the side effects, outbursts of tremendous violence, is running out. It is up to Dr. Monet to figure out how to help make more of the gas. She is locked in a room with the necessary chemicals. We transition back to the garage. Cage waking up. He tries to stand, and Warhawk tells him to take it easy, little brother. Warhawk thinks of Cage and those like him as his brother, as they are all subjects of the same process. Cage waves him off, and standing looks over in the corner at the thing that Warhawk used to cauterize Cage's wound. He asks Hawk what it is, and Hawk tells him, well, he doesn't know what the official name is, uh, but he calls it the cut through anything thing. That it must have been what the masked men used to take out Cage. Only those men's tools were a little more refined. We also learned that Dr. Bernstein, who we originally thought killed himself, may have gotten into something that he shouldn't have. And the Corello family wants what Mr. Bernstein had. It is also brought to light that there are others like Cage and Warhawk, only it seems more like Warhawk, mentally unstable, than like Cage. Cage is the only perfect specimen. The scene ends with Warhawk waking up and telling Cage, let's go. Cage asks where to, and Hawk responds, why, to get the doc back, of course. We transition back to the lab slash locked room where the doctor is being kept, and we see that not only does she have the necessary equipment, but she also has company. This is in the form of Frankie. She talks about being rusty with chemistry, but Frankie assures her that it won't be his father she'll have to worry about, but Frankie himself. If she doesn't make more gas, his mask will run out, and he will attack her in the most grisly manner. He taunts Dr. Mornay with details, saying how he will rip out her spine and not think twice about it. But then it ends his threat by saying, now let's make more happy gas before I run out and do something we both want to avoid. The scene transitions to Cage and Hawk in a car, then to a flashback of a time when Bernstein was talking to Cage. When Bernstein found out what Cage was doing with his newfound gifts. Bernstein saying how he never would have used Cage, whose real name we find out is Carl, last name we never find out. In his experience, if he knew Carl, now Cage, would use things to end up being no more than a hired goon. As Cage gets out of his memory, he and Hawk talk. They end up talking about Bernstein. Hawk is sure Bernstein is dead, but isn't so keen on the whole suicide angle. Also, talk about how easy it would be to make a murder seem like a suicide. The next scene we come across is Cage and Hawk stop at a place called the Ninth Ward. We see that it is the stomping grounds of some kids. Some kids that Warhawk says is family. Ca- Cage asks why are they here and what does he mean. Hawk answers by shooting one of the kids at point blank range. We learn that the the kid gets up, and we learn that these kids are a few of those others that Warhawk was talking about. Also, more is learned about the Corello angle and how there are more that are like them in the Corello family. This scene ends with Cage saying he needs to pay Corello a visit. Transition back to Corello's mansion, and Dr. Mornay thinks she has it. Frankie takes the gas and soon is doubled over in pain. Cage and Warhawk come barreling toward the Corello residence, and as they get there, the body of Matteo Corello is flung out a window. Then, now donning blue-tinted skin and crazy as anything, Frankie comes charging out. I am your host, the Dynamite Crip. This has been the spoiler review of Luke Cage #2. Uh, I will see you on the other side.